You're very welcome back to Nationwide. No doubt you've heard about the recently opened Waterford Greenway, which is a 46-kilometre stretch of cycle and walkways running between Waterford City and Dungarvan along what used to be the main Waterford to Mallow rail line. Recently, Mary and I experienced the Greenway for ourselves, travelling through some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. And this evening, we now look back on the history of the Greenway.
Throughout the mid-19th century there was numerous plans to create railway lines throughout the whole country, and Waterford here was no different. In 1872 the Waterford Dungarvan Lismore Railway Company was formed to construct a line between Waterford City, Dungarvan in the south of the county and in towards Lismore in the west. The construction would have started around 1874 and completed in 1878 with an awful lot of construction work. We look currently at the viaducts that are in Kilmacthomas and Durrow, etc. And we kind of think they're the big plans. And they were big objects, especially the tunnel in Ballyvile. But we also had to look at the amount of construction that took place outside that in terms of just purely the line and also the station house, signal boxes. There was also the fact too that at that time the machinery just wasn't there. We had 100 horses and 900 men involved in the construction in 1874. It gave even the wealthy people would have had a problem travelling into the country at that point, and this allowed people from all over the country to connect with each other and like ways they could never before. It also affected industry in terms of agriculture, the ability to move cattle, to move to trade, and also I mean it was part of a major network between the United Kingdom and Ireland as a trade route.
The Dacia Greenway Group came together to promote the idea of turning the old railway line into an amenity.
Yeah, the railway line was here since 1878 and closed in 1967 to passenger trains and then commercial in 1982. So the track was here for the last 35 years. So I've seen it even as a child here coming down even into this tunnel. And we daring each other to run from one end to the other in complete pitch darkness. You know, quite a scary thing to do. So, 2004, I walked this from Waterford to Dungarvan, and you know, I saw the value of it. I said, this could be put into something, you know, that can be used as an amenity, be it from a social, health, economic, tourism driver into the future.
I live alongside the railway. Our farm bounds the railway. I have a great admiration for the engineering at the time. There were very few countries in the world had this transport system at that time, the time it was built. I can appreciate the great stonework and engineering, and I didn't want that to be destroyed.
With 46 kilometres in total length, the concerns of landowners and farmers along the Greenway had to be addressed.
There were no two farms the same, and the council dealt with each farmer individually. And on that arbitration committee you had a farmer, a member of the IFA and a council official, which was pretty reasonable. Some of the sheep farmers were worried about if there were dogs on with people walking, that to make sure they were on leads, and they look for sheep fencing, that the dogs couldn't go in on the farms, which is understandable.
I'm a photographer locally, and I got involved, I suppose, because I've been taking photographs there all along, and they asked me to come on board and help out with social media as well. When I started taking photographs initially, it was like a jungle just outside the tunnel there with water flowing out, maybe 5 or 6 inches of water, and now it's lovely finished surface.
In the space of 4 years ago when we formed, we felt at the time maybe there might be a 20 or 30% chance of it going ahead. And we said, look, we'll campaign for see how, you know, what would happen. When Michael Welch then came on board as a county manager in 2014, such a determined man, push this forward. And now to think that 3 or 4 years later, this is what we have. There is other campaigns in the whole country at it for 20 years, 30 years, trying to get these old railway lines into greenways.
Following more than 30 years of disuse, there was a lot of work to be done.
When we took it over, it was all overgrown. It hadn't been maintained in about 30 years. So the first job that we had was to actually devegetate the whole thing so we could see what we were working with. And then, just by the nature of the site, it's very difficult. Logistically, it's a nightmare because it's 46 kilometres long. It's very narrow, so you can only fit one lorry at a time on it, and there are very few access points. So logistically, to try to get the job done, it's very slow in its nature and very awkward. We'd crossed the main road 3 times, so there's 2 large underpasses and a substantial bridge that you can see behind me. We have built 12 farm underpasses, 3 access bridges, 6 car parks, 48 kilometres of fencing, 50 farm machinery crossing points. And on the existing structures, the biggest problems, the biggest challenges we had were we had to clear the Douro tunnel. It was flooded when we took it over. It was knee deep. We had to drain it out and put a new drainage system in. Beside it, the Douro viaduct, which was a metal structure, all had to be refurbished to get it back into safe condition again. The engineering and the local authority, we build roads, we build bridges, we're all the time building and providing infrastructure. But this is the first instance in my experience where we got so much buy-in and praise and thanks from the public. And I know that the guys who have been working here on the site got a great kick out of it, and they have a great sense of pride of what they've achieved here, you know.
Kilmacthomas is midway on the Greenway, and the community there was eager to be an integral part of the plans.
Well, I suppose I've been living here all my life, and it's an area I love, and it's an area I want to see advance. And like a lot of Irish towns, it has declined down through the years, and businesses have been suffering. This concept of the Greenway, I think, will be crucial to its development. And we, as part of Kilmacthomas Tidies Towns Riverwalk Committee, have developed some entrances onto the Greenway, primarily to bring people off the Greenway and into our village. Well, the first thing we did was we would have built, the initial path would have been along the river bank, and it was less ambitious than what we ended up with. And then we found the need for access to the lovely park we have here, and to do that from the village we needed to put a bridge across the river, but we also needed to put a bridge underneath the existing bridge and to extend that path then up into the Greenway, to bring people off the Greenway and to allow people, local people, to get onto the Greenway quite easily. People have taken ownership of it, and they're proud of it, and they call it our Greenway. And that's one of the most satisfying things, that people have embraced it, and local people use it all the time. I've seen people cycling, I haven't seen cycling for 30 years. And it's going to be a benefit for the local people themselves, as well as the economy of the area.
The winner is Kilmacthomas, because the village was dying, and several shops are after closing down. So hopefully now this will give it a new lease of life.
I would say to any other group, and we had a few different groups visiting us, where there were a derelict railway, don't leave it go. Get public opinion behind you, canvass your local councillors, get athletic clubs, cycling clubs, people that love the outdoors, get them behind you, because if you let it go, it's gone forever.
And you know, with the weather being so good, this just might be the right time of year to try out the Greenway yourself and hop on a bike. And whether you end up in Dungarvan or back here in Waterford City, just remember there's lots to see and do here. And so, from all of us on the Nationwide team, good evening. We'll see you the next time.